Comcast is suing Washington State. The lawsuit targets a new tax starting next month, and some say it could cause major issues with keeping the state budget balanced. To learn more about this, we're speaking with Jerry Cornfield of the Washington State Standard. Thank you for being here, Jerry.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Can you explain what this new tax is?
Well, this new tax does something that people are familiar with, which is the sales tax. We pay it on some items, and what this new tax does, it extends that sales tax to a variety of services, and the one that Comcast is suing over involves advertising services. So they're going to sell an ad, a 30-second ad, a streaming service ad, and they're going to have to charge sales tax, but broadcast stations don't, and they're saying that's unfair. And they wanted to, so they're trying to put the tax on hold.
Is that the main point of why they are suing over this tax?
Right. I mean, during the session, they were opposed, and there was actually an alliance of streaming services like Netflix and Paramount Plus. They all wrote letters to Governor Bob Ferguson asking him to veto the bill itself, or at least veto the portion that deals with advertising services, or make the lawmakers write it in a way that broadcast and local TV and radio, as well as newspapers and others, would be treated the same way as the streaming services. I mean, it goes a little more complete into all types of advertising. So, for example, if you're on a bus and you see an ad, the transit district would sell that ad. They don't charge sales tax on that ad. So there's different types of advertising is taxed, and some is, some isn't.
Earlier this year, it was a tough battle for our legislature to fix the $12 billion budget shortfall in the first place. In your article, you say this could upset the state's budget. How much money is at stake, and how do lawmakers offset that potential loss?
Okay, so in the budget, they look at a 4-year cycle, and that shortfall you mentioned is over a 4-year cycle. The Department of Revenue says this one piece for advertising services, putting the tax on it, would take $475 million out of the mix to try to balance the budget. And looking at the budget over the next 2 years, that would lose about $250 million. So it may not knock it into the red completely, but that's a lot of money they need to make up.
It definitely is a lot of money, and the tax is slated to go into effect October 1st. It's right around the corner. Will this lawsuit cause any delays, in your opinion?
Well, that's what's unclear to me at this point. The Department of Revenue is still going to prepare some what they call interim guidance, which would tell folks this is the rules you need to follow to collect the tax. That hasn't come out yet. It's unclear from the lawsuit whether they're seeking an emergency injunction to prevent it from going into effect. There's probably some other options where it could take, it could go into effect, and any money that's paid could be put on hold into a separate account, and they could fight over it later.
Well, Jerry, from your reporting, do you have any idea why legacy media, broadcasts, and newspapers were left out of this potential tax?
I suspect it's, local businesses, and they have not paid sales tax over the years. Obviously, there's some lobbying going on, and lawmakers do know their local television stations, newspapers, the buses, the stadiums. Those are areas they just didn't want to put it on. And they felt that the streaming services, larger, they're national, they're going to have national advertising campaigns, and they felt, I think, that they would be a source of money.
Jerry Cornfield, thank you so much for your reporting.
Oh, thank you.